Hey everyone. As a security analyst, I've noticed we have this massive, frankly terrifying blind spot in how we prepare for the worst. Just imagine for a second that you're training a brand new pilot to fly a massive commercial airliner. Would you ever just stick them in the cockpit of a fully loaded jet on day one, point them at the runway and just kind of hope for the best? No way. Absolutely not. You'd put them in a flight simulator, right? It's a safe, controlled environment where they can learn the ropes, push the aircraft to its limits, and yet even crash without a single real-world consequence. In aviation, we immediately get why this is absolutely crucial. But when it comes to cybersecurity, we've had a really hard time grasping this concept. So today, we're diving into KrakenSim, and we're going to see how it applies that exact flight simulator logic right to your network's security.
Seriously? Would you test a pilot's skills by crashing an actual plane? Because when I look at how we traditionally test our network defenses, live fire penetration testing directly on production networks, I really have to ask, aren't we kind of doing exactly that? We're literally launching real attacks against the very systems that keep our businesses running, just to see if they hold up. It is a super high-stress, high-stakes game. And as you're going to see, the way modern cyber threats are evolving, it's making this old-school way of doing things not just incredibly risky, but honestly, entirely obsolete.
Section 1. The New Era of Cyber Attacks. Welcome to the hostile skies of the Mythos era.
So the threat landscape has completely shifted under our feet. We aren't just dealing with amateur hackers probing firewalls in their basements anymore. We're up against something much faster and way more sophisticated. As the quote goes, if defenders don't adopt the same class of technology, they're bringing checklists to a knife fight. Offensive AI. It's no longer just some theoretical buzzword we talk about at conferences. It is literally right here. Adversaries are actively using advanced AI tools, stuff very similar to the tech behind ChatGPT, to scan targets, string together super complex exploits, and dart through networks infinitely faster than any human defender could ever dream of responding to. The asymmetry is just brutal. A single attacker with the right autonomous agent can now apply the kind of sustained pressure that used to take an entire team of hackers. Bottom line, to fight back against AI, we absolutely have to use AI ourselves.
Which brings us to Section 2, the Defender's Dilemma, the danger of testing on the real plane.
Okay, so we know what the defensive answer is, right? You have to pen test your own network using an autonomous AI agent so you can find those attack chains before the bad guys do. But actually turning an AI loose on your live production network? Terrifying. Most IT teams are rightfully terrified of this. I mean, if an autonomous tool makes even a tiny mistake while testing your real network, the fallout is immediate and severe. You're looking at broken services, completely locked out user accounts, massive brand damage, or worse, catastrophic data loss. And guess what? The downside of that misfire doesn't fall on the vendor who sold you the tool, it lands squarely on the business or the IT team. As an analyst, I can tell you firsthand, absolutely nobody wants to be the person explaining why a security test just took down the entire company. This is exactly why we cannot test our pilots on the live plane. Organizations today desperately need this offensive testing capability, but there's no way they can absorb that kind of operational risk.
Section 3. The Security Flight Simulator. Introducing the Digital Twin.
This is right where KrakenSim steps in, and they offer a totally brilliant solution to this trade-off. They give you all the incredible benefits of an aggressive AI pen test, but completely remove the risk to your infrastructure. How? By building a simulator. Basically, KrakenSim builds this digital twin from a hybrid of external network scans and telemetry collected straight from the devices themselves. It perfectly maps out your hosts, identities, services, exposed credentials, known vulnerabilities, the whole shebang. But, and this is super important, so hear me out, it is just a mathematically accurate blueprint. It is absolutely not a copy of your sensitive production data, and it is not connected to your live network in any way. It's an entirely separate model of your attack surface, a perfectly safe, highly accurate flight simulator.
Now, you might be wondering, isn't testing against a simulation a bit less realistic than a real attack? Well, actually, scratch that. It's the system's biggest strength. See, a real-world attacker has to kind of stumble around in the dark. They discover your network slowly, piece by painstaking piece. They get caught by your alarm systems or antivirus, and they get blocked by their own visibility gaps. KrakenSim, on the other hand, operates with perfect knowledge of the entire environment from step one. Plus, it uses deliberately optimistic exploit assumptions, meaning it assumes that if any vulnerability exists anywhere, the attack is going to work perfectly with zero friction. Why do that? Because this combination produces an absolute, unquestionable worst-case scenario. Think of it like this. A live fire pen test only tells you what one specific team managed to hack on one specific day. But the simulator? It tells you what is structurally reachable under the worst possible conditions. If you can fix the vulnerabilities KrakenSim finds in the simulator, a real-world attacker with way worse information, they literally don't stand a chance.
Section 4. Thinking like a hacker. Let's look under the hood of the simulation.
Okay, so we've got our digital twin, our safe flight simulator. But how exactly does KrakenSim actually fly the plane to find those worst-case vulnerabilities? Well, it uses two very different planning engines to navigate the twin. On one side, you have the deterministic planner. Think of this as a super-fast robotic sweep. It's literally checking every single door in the hallway at the exact same time. It's incredibly fast. We're talking sub-second speed, but it's, robotic. It optimizes purely for the shortest possible path. So it might suggest a route that technically works, but it would immediately trip every single security alarm in your entire network. A real human hacker would never in a million years try it. But then on the other side, we have the LLM planner. This is powered by advanced AI models, making it a smart, human-like agent. It takes a little longer, maybe 30 to 90 seconds, but it optimizes for plausibility. It actually builds a realistic engagement narrative. The attack chains it comes up with read exactly like something a highly skilled, sneaky human attacker would pick. And that is why the LLM is the default engine here. You want to know what a smart human would do, not just a fast robot, right?
So to act like a real human, this LLM planner uses something called the REACT cycle. That stands for reason, simulate, observe, and decide. Before it commits to making any move, the agent reasons about the environment. Then it aggressively simulates a specific attack technique against a specific host inside the digital twin. It observes the evidence, like, does this host actually exist? Will this exploit actually work here? And based on that concrete evidence, it decides what step to take next. As an analyst, I gotta say, this is what gives me absolute confidence in the findings. It's not just blindly guessing and hoping for the best, it's verifying every single step against the reality of the twin.
Let's take a look at exactly what kind of attack chain this human-like AI agent can discover. And by the way, this is a real example from a simulated environment. Step 1. A stolen phish password lands on a regular employee's workstation. Simple enough. Step 2. The agent simulates tricking the local network into handing over a hidden password hash. Step 3. It figures out that this hidden hash actually works against a backup server, which just so happens to hold the domain admin credentials, basically the master keys to the entire IT kingdom. And Step 4, armed with those master keys, the chain ends right at a file share packed with highly sensitive personal customer data, the crown jewels. The robotic planner? It probably would have tried a shorter, much louder path that gets caught immediately. But the AI found a sneaky, multi-hop nightmare scenario that is completely plausible. And remember the best part? Because this all happened in the simulator, there was absolutely zero danger to the real network while it figured this out.
Section 5. Confidence without the risk. Ready for a Tuesday afternoon?
And this brings us to the ultimate benefit for us, the defenders. You are gaining total structural confidence in your security posture without ever putting your business operations on the line. Because this entire rigorous AI-driven penetration test executes entirely against the digital twin, you get what we call the simulation advantage. That means no false positive alarms for your security team to waste time chasing down, no user accounts are accidentally quarantined, locking people out of their work, no frantic support tickets from confused staff, and, I'm not gonna lie, my personal favorite, no late-night weekend change windows are required just to run a test. You can literally run a full live-fire equivalent security exercise completely harmlessly on a random Tuesday afternoon, while everyone is just sitting at their desks working. It's a total game changer.
So I'll leave you with this thought. If a simulated, AI-driven hacker can map your absolute worst-case scenario today inside a perfectly safe digital twin, why on earth would you wait for a real attacker to do it tomorrow on your live network? The modern era of cyber threats is totally unforgiving. But by testing our defenses in the simulator first, we can find the broken links in our attack chains, fix them, and finally fly these hostile skies with absolute confidence.